Alright, now we're back with part 7 of box 1 of my 45 collection. And we're starting off with a really cool one here. Def Leppard, Foolin'. You'll notice it clearly states it's side 1 on here. And on the back side, we got Bringin' on the Heartbreak, which was actually from 2 different albums. And it says it's side 2, so B side, once again, from one album, and the A side was from a different album. And moving on, we've got Fleetwood Mac doing Dreams. Great Stevie Nicks song. On the B side to that, we find Songbird, which they seem to like to do the Stevie on one side and Christy on the other side, whether it's A or B. I find that interesting. A lot of their 45s did that. And moving on, we've got, here's clearly a reissue. Bill Haley and his comments. We're going to rock around the clock tonight. And it even notes it clearly on here, originally released as Decca on the Decca label. And the B side, I do have a copy of that Decca, of the original one, somewhere in the boxes. And the B side is 13 Women and Only One Man in Town. What a lucky guy. I'd like to actually listen to that song. I don't think I've heard that one. And moving on, we've got an interesting 45 on Soma Records out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And Mule Skinner Blues by the Fendermen. And when we flip this one over to the B side, you'll see that it's a completely different band, the Underbeats with Book of Love. Now, I'm not sure if that's, I know the song Book of Love, but I'm not sure if the Underbeats did it originally or not. Likely a cover, but I do remember the Mule Skinner Blues song, and that's what I bought that for. Moving on, ERA Records. Just how many different companies were there? That would be interesting to know. Jewel Atkins doing the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. And on the B side of that, we've got Tic Tac Toe. Okay. Don't know that song? Bamboo Music. Very cool. Here's a good one. Santana doing Black Magic Woman off of Abraxas. That's a good one. And on the B side of that, we've got Hope You're Feeling Better. Be a good song to dedicate to a sick friend, I suppose. Here's a really great one. Parrot Records. I like their logo. I always thought it was kind of cool. Them doing Gloria. Glora. And on the B side of that, they had Bring 'Em On In. Now we're going with Elton John here and Philadelphia Freedom. What a great song that was. I loved Elton John's 70s stuff. Not much of a fan of his once Bernie and him parted ways. But him and Bernie did a lot of great music together. And the B-side of this one has I Saw Her Standing There with John Lennon, featuring John Lennon. I know that song quite well. And it's recorded live. I don't think they did a studio version of it. I think it was only a live version with them together. And the next one up is another Elton John from the year before, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which is funny because there he's doing a John Lennon song. And on the last one he had John Lennon with him, so that's kind of neat. One Day at a Time would be the B-side to that one. And next up, we've got Nick Lowell, Cruel to Be Kind. It's a good song. Not really sure of any other songs Nick Lowell did that I might recognize, but I definitely do recognize that one. B-side of that, Endless Gray Ribbon. 1979. That's going back a few years. Now here we got one that kind of borderline disco. You make me feel like dancing. Actually, it might be categorized as disco. I don't know. It's 1976, right in the height of the disco era. So it's quite possible this is considered to be disco. And the B-side of that was Magdalena. Not a song that I recognize. Well, certainly not a song I recognize. And next up, we've got a really awesome song by Bob Welch, Sentimental Lady, which actually has Fleetwood Mac doing backup vocals on that, if you look it up. And I always thought that was interesting, that they worked together, because he was with Fleetwood Mac for a while, and then when he left, they must have been on good terms, because they still appeared with him on a couple of songs. And the B-side of that, Hot Love, Cold World. Not so familiar with that one, but that's off of his French Kiss album, it says here, as was Sentimental Lady. Then next up, we've got another Bob Welch on another different older Capitol label from the album Three Hearts, Precious Love. And that's 1979. The previous one was 77, so actually I guess that's a newer label than the other one. And the B-side to that, Something So Strong. So, moving on here. I really zipped through them this time. I guess I didn't de-sleeve enough of them, so this is the last one I had de-sleeved for this video. San Francisco. Be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. Scott McKenzie. Definitely right from the height of the hippie era. No insult intended to anyone with that comment. I get a lot of people telling me I'm a hippie, or they think I'm a hippie because I got long hair. Just a preference. I don't like getting haircuts. And the B-side of that was Like an Old Time Movie. So, I believe that we can go ahead and squeeze in just a couple more here. And definitely getting from one genre to another here with Bobby Darin, Mac the Knife. That's definitely an older song. And on the B-side to that, there was Beyond the Sea. And it's oldies series, so it might very well be a song you recognize if I put it on, because most of the time the oldies series would have like a double A, two well-known songs, as opposed to a current song and a B-side. And the next one up here, we've got Whispering Bells by the Dell Vikings. I'm familiar with a couple of their songs. That one doesn't readily come to my brain. The B-side, Don't Be a Fool. Let me double check the numbers here. 9801, yeah, so Don't Be a Fool is actually the A-side. Had that backwards. And the other song was the B-side. So, now we've got one here on Capitol that I don't recognize at all. Blood Rock, doing DOA. And on the B-side, Children's Heritage. So, I don't recognize either one of the songs, don't even recognize the band. Perfect example, when you buy a box full of stuff, you end up with all kinds of things. And some of it you know, some of it you don't. Alright, here we got Benny King doing Spanish Harlem. And let's see what's on the B-side to that one. First Taste of Love. Alright. Next up, we got an A&M Records with Pablo Cruz, Don't Want to Live Without It. Don't know that song. Raging Fire on the B-side. Don't recognize that song either, but I do recognize Pablo Cruz. I've heard of them before. And so I think we'll do just one more here, and then call part 7 done. And that would be Poco doing Crazy Love. Love it when they clearly marked it an A side. Sure makes it a lot easier for you to know. This is clearly the B side with Barbados. And so we'll be back. Part 8's going to be some comedy ones. And those should be fun to look through.